Ferrer's not finished yet. Holds his serve, keeps his tournament alive, but it's hanging. In the past, these two have played 5 times. The winner has been Ferrer, then Anderson, then Ferrer, then Anderson, then Ferrer. So, taking that into consideration, it's Anderson's turn. Of course, that has no bearing. But Anderson is a game away from continuing that rhythm. 5-4 he leads, having taken the first set 6-3, and is about to serve for the match. A roar of applause, mostly for David Ferrer. Can he prolong this, or can Anderson finish it here? .224 kilometers per hour down the centre. Nothing Ferrer could do about that. 15 love.
Such a surprise. His career, after would you see Ferrer miss that particular shot? Such a big point.
Nervous moments for Kevin's wife and his coaches. It's long. And here are 3 match points for Kevin Anderson after just 65 minutes of play. A chance to register his first win on clay over David Ferrer. It's over. Anderson takes the win. Held his nerve. What composure throughout from Kevin Anderson. He's demolished David Ferrer and takes his place in the next round with a likely encounter with Rafael Nadal on Nadal's newly named centre court here. He has defeated David Ferrer, the number 13 seed, in straight sets in just over an hour. 6-3, 6-4. Great performance from Kevin Anderson.
Very impressive. So cool in that last game as well. That first serve really helping the cause, but he's never beaten Ferrer on a clay court. He has on a hard. Lost to him twice, so that's a big scout for him. You have to say Ferrer a little below par still trying to find his form. And certainly the lack of matches you feel affected the way that Ferrer was playing, but take nothing away from Kevin Anderson. He played his own game, served well, took the ball on, and played it on his terms. In particular, behind this serve, when you look at the numbers, a reasonable percentage first serves going in, 64%, but the key is how many points you win behind your serve. 91% of those points being won behind the first, and that's just 3 points drop. 50% on the second is decent. And in fact, in every department, Kevin Anderson was better than Ferrer today. More winners, less unforced errors. All the numbers stacking well in Anderson's favour.
So Kevin Anderson takes his place in the draw for the last 16 with that very comprehensive victory over David Ferrer, his first ever on clay, and a potential meeting with Rafael Nadal. Over on court 2, closing stages of the match between Dutra Silva, the Brazilian, and Renzo Olivo from Argentina. All South American affair. And it was all very, very quick indeed. Dutra Silva coming through in double quick time, just 51 minutes taken for the Brazilian. And this is what's happening over on court 1. Thomas Bellucci, another Brazilian, against Karen Khachanov, the Russian, who took the first set 6-3, evenly poised in the second. Chance here for Khachanov to extend his lead. 2 break points on the Bellucci serve. Andreas Seppi and Pablo Carreño Busta will be out shortly over on Pista. Rafa Nadal will be joining that very shortly. Still break point.
One of the next gen players, isn't he, Khachanov? High hopes he's going to do well in the future. He's got a big game.
Too strong there. Great example of that big game. Bellucci was finalist in Houston recently, so comes into Barcelona in decent form.
Had a good win as well. In the South American swing in Rio, beat Kenish Nikuri. Scrapping his way back into this service game is Bellucci. And he's been put under all sorts of pressure by the young Russian. One of this match will play Pablo Cuevas. Keep the South American connection going. Cuevas, of course, from Uruguay. Tricky out there, that wind really picking up.
Well, One of those pivotal games we so often see. Multiple juices, breakpoint opportunities. Neither player able to get over the line. And so often this sort of game can determine the outcome of the match. Well, there it is. He gets the break, having taken the first set, and the momentum continues to roll behind the young Russian. We'll keep you updated on that match. We're going to return to Pista Rafael Nadal, the court being readied for the arrival of the final two players on this court today. Andrea Seppi, the Italian, against the rising star of Spanish tennis, Pablo Carreño Busta. Disappointment so far for Spanish fans on this court with the defeats of Nicolas Almagro and a few minutes ago David Ferrer. But let's just, before we get into this match, take a look at the rise of the number 7 seed, Pablo Carreño Busta.
2017 has been a milestone season for Pablo Carreño Busta. A first final at ATP 500 level, coupled with a first semi-final in a Masters 1000, has seen the Spaniard catapulted into the world's top 20 for the first time in his career. This Barcelona resident is full of confidence for his home tournament.
Well, of course, I'm very, very happy with this year. No? I think I'm playing the best tennis of my career. I improved a lot this year, my mentality to be more aggressive on court, and I think the people knows now that I'm a dangerous player.
A much-touted youngster, the Spanish number 4 was rewarded as the ATP World Tour's most improved player in 2013, but in the 4th year since that accolade, results have improved immeasurably.
I'm playing better, and you know, everybody knows you now, everybody knows how to play, how to win you, but this is fantastic for me. No? We need to continue working hard and improving my tennis for in 2030 or 2025, try to do my best and try to be in the top 10.
In a transitional period for Spanish tennis, there is once again a glut of impressive players beginning to crowd the world's top 20. A resurgence from injury for Rafael Nadal has coincided with the continued progress of not only Carreño Busta, but also some other slow-burning talents.
We always have a lot of players in the top 10, top 20, top 30, top 50. And now Albert is playing really, really good. Bautista is also playing good. And of course, Rafa is always playing good, but everybody knows that. And me, so we have 4 players now in the top 20. I think it's something good for Spain. So for Spanish tennis, if Rafa comes back, it's really good news. No? You know, everybody supports him, everybody knows him. So I think it's really good news for us.
Coming into his hometown event in career best form means that Carreño Busta has had to reassess both his expectations for Barcelona and the rest of the season as a whole.
For sure, play here in Barcelona, no? At home. We play at my club. We play with every kids. Everybody knows you, so everybody supports you. So I will try to do my best here in Barcelona. The last years I cannot do my best, but why not the final or win the tournament? I have a lot of things to improve. So that's good news for me. The goal for this year was to be in the top 20. Now I'm top 20 player, so I will try to continue improving, maybe top 15, top 10, near to top 10 at the end of the year.
It's quite a story. And here he is, live pictures from centre court. Pista Rafael Nadal and Pablo Carreño Busta, the number 7 seed, about to get underway against the hugely talented but sometimes unpredictable Andrea Seppi from Italy.
Start today, 25 seconds between points when you're serving, as you know. Extra time when you sit down. Television. We have this cable above us. If you hit the cable, you lose the point, just so you know. And TV changeovers when you sit down. Now we have electronic coin toss, so I push here, and then you get the result on the scoreboard, and then you choose. Any questions? Need anything? All right, here we go. And you win.
Well, he's won the toss.
Okay. And we're staying. All right. Yeah, I'm 100% sure. Computer.
Andrea Seppi, sense of humour. Fergus Murphy there, of course, officiating this one. So we're set fair, as is the weather, pleasingly, because there were concerns that there would be some thunderstorms hitting Barcelona late afternoon, but we're still enjoying good, warm and dry conditions here. So let's just remind ourselves of where we are with the draw. Seppi, Carreño Busta about to get underway. Gasquet has gone, humbled by the lucky loser, Sugita, who's having the tournament of his life. So a place in the last 16 up for grabs for these two. Chris Wilkinson alongside me. Just set the scene with these two, if you could. Carreño Busta and Andrea Seppi.
Well, certainly, Carreño Busta is having in the form of his life, isn't he? As we have a look at Andrea Seppi there. A very solid pro, is Seppi. Actually reached his career high in the top 20 at number 18. That was back in January 2013. And what I like about him, he's solid. There's nothing special about him. He just goes about his business, and for him to reach a peak high of 18 in the world is incredible. It just shows what a good workman-like player that he's been over the years. Some would say maybe he lacks a real weapon. Quite possibly now the game's got bigger, but he's up against one of the young guys on the tour.
A few upsets, hasn't he, over the years? A few scalps, including the likes of Federer, memorably. And on his day, he can be extremely dangerous. He's from the very northern part of Italy, South Tyrol, so fluent in both Italian and German. It's a beautiful part of the world. In Bolzano. 3 titles to his name. He's 7-6 for the year so far. That's including the win in the first round over the young Swede Mikael Ymer. That was on the opening day. And 2 victories to 1 on clay. Got Australian Open, didn't he, as well, beating Kyrgios. But can also go walkabout as well, so it'll be a real test for him against, as you were saying, really the informed player in terms of Spaniards, you have to say at the moment, Pablo Carreño Busta. We saw that little feature beforehand. And a very nice guy as well, resident of Barcelona, originally from Gijón. So one of several players who are playing in their home tournament. Still only 25 years old.
He played well in Rio. Got through to the final. He actually has 2 titles to his name. He won Moscow 2016 and Winston-Salem. But he's been solid this year. Getting through to his first Masters Series semi-finals, where he lost to Stan Wawrinka in Indian Wells. Went close with Novak Djokovic just last week in Monte Carlo. Took him to 3 sets. But certainly, when you look at Spanish tennis, he is the future. A lot of them, you have to say, are starting to age a little bit now. You look at the Ferrers, the Almagros, Verdasco, Batista Agut. So he's the future of the game. But it is a great in his path coming up. As you say, humble. He won the Most Improved Player a few years ago. When you've got the likes of Nadal and Ferrer at the top there of the game for so long, you know, such great role models to look up to, and that's got to be an inspiration. That's got to be why he's so humble as well, because he's not the best. You know, there's a lot of good Spanish players around.
And been part of the culture, of course, as well. And Nadal, you mentioned there, himself so humble. A terrific role model for any young player coming through. I'm sure some of that gold dust and that humility must have rubbed off on someone like Carreño Busta. Just the one meeting in Croatia last year.
And that was on clay. So I think that it's appropriate when you look at head-to-heads, what surface have they played on. The fact their only meeting has been on clay, and Carreño Busta came out on top, would suggest he's favourite for this match, given the ranking difference as well.
Yeah, talking of surfaces, he's not a grass court player. I was looking at his Grand Slam record, Carreño Busta. Twice round 3 at the US Open, got to the 3rd round of the Australian this year, but in 3 visits to Wimbledon on the green stuff, no victories. But not surprising.
I think it's important, though, for players these days to be able to play on all surfaces. We look at Dominic Thiem, we look at his titles. He won on grass last year, on hard, indoors, on clay. You know, you've got to be adaptable. Just in the corner behind Carreño Busta is Carlos Ferrero. She teamed up in the doubles here this week, going out in the first round. Bit of a comeback from Ferrero. He's got his own academy in Valencia.
So many top academies, aren't there? I heard you talking with Matt earlier on about that with Ferrer.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Sanchez Casal, Serge Bruguera's got one. It's such a big competition. The big academy that a lot of people are talking about now is Rafa's academy in Mallorca.
Yeah.
Got a few players who are based out there from the UK who train, get the chance to hit with Rafa.
Didn't Andy Murray go there towards the end of last year or early this year, just as a break? He was maybe an early exit from a tournament and just booked up for a few days.
Yeah.
Said how much he enjoyed it. So we're all set late afternoon. The last match of the second day here in Barcelona, the 65th Barcelona Open, with Rafael Nadal due to make his first appearance tomorrow, Wednesday. It is Andreas Seppi against the future of Spanish tennis, Pablo Carreño Busta.
That's what Seppi's all about, solid from the back. Doesn't miss an awful lot.
That's good variation from Carreño Busta, just probing away on both flanks. Straight out the blocks very nicely. It's long, and immediately Seppi under pressure. Well, there it is. Perfect start for Carreño Busta. An early break, and Seppi, as if he didn't know it, is in a match.
Yeah, heavy hitting from the Spaniard. So he's going to get a look at the serve. I mean, Seppi hasn't got the biggest serve in the game. He'll struggle to get 3 points. So it's an opportunity for the Spaniards, maybe just look to go after that second serve as he did on that last point.
Well, the difference in rankings already starting to be apparent. Seppi down at 74 now, although has been a top 20 player. Carreño Busta at 20.
Recently got married as well, Andres Seppi. September last year.
Yeah, beautiful setting. Seen the photos. Michaela, his wife. Well, it's inch perfect. Finding the corners already. Really has got his eye in here, Carreño Busta. Backs up the break, the early break, emphatically. And Seppi, well, he's going to have to find something special today. It's a little short, wasn't it, from the Spaniard on return? That's nice. It's a bit of a glimpse of what Seppi is capable of doing.
Yeah, last couple of points a little more positive there was Seppi.
Nicely done by the Italian. Andrea Seppi gets himself on the board in this first set against the very impressive Pablo Carreño Busta. It's the Spaniard who still leads with the break 2-1 first set. Well, the support during the day on this second day in Barcelona has grown and grown. Spanish players, as you would expect, centre stage. Sadly, the results haven't gone entirely to plan. Defeats for Almagro and Ferrer. But great hopes on the third in action. This man here, Pablo Carreño Busta, serving at 2-1 with the break.
Yet to lose a point on serve, the Spaniard.
Terrific.
See right there, the difference between the two. The Carreño Busta just has that little bit of extra they get on the pace, like the forehand there from Seppi, not enough on it. And the Spaniard hits it, so there's more on it.
Great racket head speed. Well, perfect on serve. Another love game for the Spaniard, and taking control of this first set. Nice build as well. Very lean, isn't he? Great power and strength as well.
Just held the shot, waited to see where Seppi is off to.
He's making it look very, very easy indeed so far. Just what the crowd needed. Warm the spectators up for the big entrance tomorrow of Rafa Nadal. Getting a little bit impatient on that one, putting too much on it. Idea, just couldn't get the execution right. Disguise would have been a winner. That's better from Seppi, a real injection of pace in that forehand, and he got his reward. Almost like local park tennis there.
Well, it's a good exhibition of how to move on clay. Beautiful sliding into the ball. Good touch as well.
It's just long from Carreño Busta, and another important hold for Seppi, who still trails by a break in this first set. 3-2, Carreño Busta leads. A penny for the thoughts of Andreas Seppi. Already a breakdown here against the man of the moment, the man of the year, really, Carreño Busta. It's been a really outstanding last 12 months. Particularly, Chris, when you think the Spaniard had back surgery not that long ago, had a period of time out, missed almost half a year back in 2012. As a 20-year-old, I suppose, growing pains and the rigours of the game on a young body. He's got over that very well indeed.
Interesting for Carreño Busta is making that next step. So if you look at his results during his career against top 10 players, hasn't won one, 0 for 16. But you feel now, with the confidence that he's gaining, that could all change against top 20 players. Only 5 wins, 30 losses.
So consistent on serve. Still don't think he's dropped a point on serve, has he?
No.
Well, there we are.
Speak too soon. But it's quite often on clay, it's not how many your cheap points you're getting, it's how you're using the serve to set up the point. And the Spaniard doing very well in that department so far. Yeah, hitting better length as well than Seppi. Seppi constantly on the back foot.
Carreño Busta extends his lead. 4-2 first set. So far, so good. And, well, neither player hanging around here, getting through these games pretty quickly.
It's a bit of useless information for you, Chris. The last time Carreño Busta lost to an Italian, you've got to go back to March 2014 in Indian Wells, where he lost to Paolo Lorenzi.
And how many Italians has he played in that time?
Well, 18 since then.
Yeah, that's impressive. Seppi holds, still trails by a break. 3-4 first set. The rain and the thunderstorms forecast for late afternoon. So far, fingers crossed, holding off. There's been a few squalls in the air, a little wind earlier on. It seems to have subsided a little bit, but the forecasts we're keeping a close eye on for the next 2 days. Not great reading, I'm afraid. So we're hoping for as much play as possible from Wednesday onwards. Friday, I think, is better. But Wednesday and Thursday forecast to be quite wet. How wet, we will find out. Carreño Busta, though, with the break and new balls. Just away, and lucky for Seppi.
Disappointed there, had a lot of options. A lot of time as well.
Yeah, first point of the game against the server would have been good. He's had very, very little out of the Spaniard so far on serve. Utterly dominant, hasn't he, behind the serve? Another love game for the Spaniard, Carreño Busta, who inches towards this first set. He's been in control, really, from the opening game, getting that early break.
Well, the number's so good behind the serve. Yeah, just the 1 point loss on his service games.
He's been more convincing behind the serve, hasn't he? In the last few service games, he'll be kicking himself for that very slow start. Right on the line and rather flummoxing Carreño Busta, but it's a comfortable hold for Seppi. Carreño Busta will come out and serve for this first set. Let's just catch up on what's happening over on court one. Pista uno. Bellucci in trouble. Last we were there, and well, he still is, because he's facing here 3 match points to the young Russian, Karen Khachanov. And Khachanov has done it, and he is a rising star, one of the next-gen group. And that is quite a victory for the Russian. Bellucci in good form, and the higher-ranked player.
Yeah, and a very experienced clay court player as well, Bellucci.
Seppi then facing first set defeat here, unless he can turn things round. Very slow out of the blocks. Was broken in the opening game of the match and has been playing catch-up ever since. And it's been almost perfect, hasn't it, from this man so far. Serving here at 5-4 for the set. Oh, he's found the gap. He was down and out in that rally and found a way to come back and get the point.
Absolute brilliant point. That defence was incredible. Kept in that point. No right to win it. But he did in the end. Squeezed it down the line.
Further demoralising Seppi, who must have thought he was onto a winner there.
Another example of where he's so good, Carreño Busta, out of the corners. Taking that backhand, hitting open stance, good base, very solid, very strong.
It's called long. Carreño Busta just querying it. Seppi very helpfully showing the mark. Agus Murphy in the chair confirming that the call was right. Oh, looks to have caught some of the line there, hasn't it? Well, almost inevitably, Carreño Busta on his way to this first set. He's been flawless, certainly on serve. Well, there it is. Exactly half an hour of play, of exemplary play from Carreño Busta, this 25-year-old, ranked 20 in the world. Just 1 point dropped on serve, and he comes through very impressively indeed. First set by 6 games to 4.
Very true, very impressive set of tennis there. Solid from the back, effective behind the serve, a little more aggression than his opponent. And that'll be shown in the numbers now. Decent first serve percentage as well from Carreño Busta, 62%. But look at that, 92% behind the first, and didn't lose a point behind that second serve. Took his chances, 1 break point opportunity early on, was able to convert. And then from the back of the court, identical with the unforced errors, but the big difference there, the amount of winners the Spaniard was able to hit. 11 compared to Seppi, just the 3.
Well, probably the most impressive set of tennis we've seen on this court today. Day 2 here in Barcelona. And fittingly, it was produced by a Spaniard in front of a very appreciative crowd. They've not had much to cheer about today. Poor souls. Defeats for Ferrer and Almagro earlier on today, but Carreño Busta really showing his true class. Chris Wilkinson replaced by Chilton.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I do like watching Carreño Busta play. There's this easy power about him. And he's such an unassuming character, isn't he?
Well, we're saying at the top of the match how he's probably, having been surrounded by the likes of Ferrer and Nadal, that sort of culture of being humble and simple and just doing things in the right way, that must have rubbed off. That's the way he certainly comes across. An elegant player as well, and as you say, so much power behind that pretty lean physique. Not an ounce of fat on him. That's better. Haven't seen too many of those from Seppi. Certainly not on the Carreño Busta serve.
Yeah, nice move here from Seppi. Just guided away on the backhand wing, beyond Carreño Busta.
Well, carbon copy of the first set. Break point opportunities here for Carreño Busta. Well, there it is. Rather surrendered that, didn't he, Seppi, after that lovely backhand down the line, but it's a different class, it really is. Like watching two players from different levels of the game.
Seeded 7 here, Pablo Carreño Busta. And so far, living up to that seeding. Terrific play so far. Lost to Djokovic last week in Monte Carlo. No disgrace there. Lost to Djokovic, but snatched a set along the way.
Well, a rare point to Seppi on the Carreño Busta serve. Well, the 30 for the first time in this match for Seppi.
Carreño Busta may just have let his intensity level slip slightly after having taken that first set relatively comfortably. It's out. Long one, 19 strokes. And something for Carreño Busta to think about here. A couple of break points to defend.
Oh, I didn't see that coming at all after that first set display and the early break in the second. One saved.
Yeah, change of pace and angle. Started to move in, pushing Seppi to the back of the court. I don't think the Italian was expecting that. Intelligent play from Carreño Busta.
Right on the line from Carreño Busta, forcing the error. 2 break points saved. he's turned that around very nicely. 15-40 down. And backs up the break. Tightens his grip on this match. Really good to watch, isn't he? Carreño Busta, saw him in Basel last autumn. Very impressive indeed.
Now that was good from Seppi. Kept it low. Sliced backhand. Difficult for Carreño Busta to engineer an angle at full stretch. Seppi needs this game, otherwise he can effectively kiss goodbye to the match, you would think. Well, that'll help. Doesn't serve many aces, the Italian.
Second of the match.
Oh, Seppi just stood and watched as that one was fired away for a winner on the forehand wing. Stunning shot here from Carreño Busta.
So Seppi, an important hole there. Dan Evans, second British player in action on this second day against, well, the other Zverev brother, Misha Zverev. And Dan Evans trying to do what Kyle Edmund couldn't do. Well, he's taking the first set against the older brother by 6 games to 4. So far, so good for the British number 3. That's impressive. Misha Zverev, one of the resurgent players of recent months.
Yeah, seems to have been lifted by his brother's achievements and antics. He's latched hold of that, responded. Can't let you run away and take all the glory. I'm coming with you.
Well, that's the situation in this final match on the main show court here in Barcelona, the Pista Rafa Nadal. Spectators of all ages, all generations enjoying their afternoon and enjoying some outstanding tennis by a Spanish tennis player.
Which they've been sadly denied so far today, although Almagro played well against Zverev, couldn't quite get it done when it mattered, pushing the German to 3 sets. Ferrer never really got going against Kevin Anderson. That was very one-sided, all over in just over an hour, 66 minutes, I think. So they've got something to enjoy here with Carreño Busta up by a set and by a break.
Oh, once again, Seppi, no answer to this serve from Carreño Busta. Just unhappy, I think, about one of the calls. Again, good tactics there from the Spaniard, just tucking up Seppi, body serve.
I think Seppi's mind was still on the previous point.
Can't afford to switch off, though, can he? 30 love already. Look at that.
Yeah, brilliant side door forehand. Seems to be no stopping Carreño Busta here this afternoon.
Oh, little extravagant. Mind you, 40 love, pressure off and all that. Both players not hanging around here. We're approaching halfway through the second set, barely 45 minutes on the clock.
Well-engineered point from Seppi. Created that opportunity by sending Carreño Busta way out to the backhand wing here, and then there was an opportunity to set up the easy winner, giving the Spaniard no chance. Sixth winner from Seppi.
Oh, he's missed it. Great idea. Perfect strategy, but just lack the execution.
Well, Seppi would have been nowhere near it had it had another inch of backswing.
40 love becomes deuce. Well, more frustration for the Italian, because again he had an opportunity there for the second successive service game on the Spaniard serve. Break points in the previous one, deuce here, and leaves on both occasions empty-handed.
4 minutes of this second set completed in just 18 minutes. Both players quick to go about their business. It's refreshing.
It'll all change tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a good rally. Both players coming up with some excellent ball striking, but almost inevitably the Spaniard comes out on top.
Yeah, it was the battle of the backhands for a while, and then they switched sides, exchanging forehands. Good confrontation. Wild missed the doubles court that time, Carreño Busta.